Hey everybody, Keep7 here, back with another Magic the Gathering Arena video, and today we are going to be starting a video series I'm going to be calling Card Discussions. It's just quick videos about individual cards, and maybe just general information about the card. Maybe there's a specific reason I'm doing the video. Maybe I think that the card has gotten better, maybe has gotten worse due to some meta changes. Or is just notable for whatever reason. And today we're going to be going over Mazemind Tome. You should see it maybe up here. Maybe I'll put it over there. Who knows? Maybe both places. Mazemind Tome. Mazemind Tome is a great card. So let's talk about the card in a vacuum. Mazemind Tome is a 2-mana artifact. When you tap it, you can put a page counter on Mazemind Tome to scry 1, or you can pay 2 mana, tap it, put a page counter on it, and draw a card. When there are 4 or more page counters on Mazemind Tome, you exile it. So essentially you can get 4 uses out of it. It's a 4-use artifact, and then once you've used it, you exile it, and when you do, you gain 4 life. So, I mean, there's just a lot of value right there. So obviously it's pretty self-explanatory. You can tap it 4 times, pay 2 mana to draw a card every single one of those 4 times. You can scry every single one of those 4 times. You can do any combination. You can draw a card, then scry, draw a card, then scry, do something like that. And then once you've done that 4 times, any combination of those things 4 times, you exile it, you gain 4 life. So there's even a little thing tacked on to the end there that's pretty important, as gaining 4 life against aggro means a lot. So your first thought with this card is it's great for control, which it is. It is fantastic for control. And it's even expanding its viability in a lot of other decks at the moment. But that's the card in a vacuum. It's a very good card. But this card was not playable pre-rotation. And you got to wonder why that is. Hey, buddy. You don't really have to wonder why that is. We know why that is. This card is a great card in a vacuum and in standards that maybe generally have a lower power level than they did pre-rotation. So pre-rotation, we had a very powerful standard. We had a lot of those powerful planeswalkers, and probably the most powerful card towards the end after all the bannings were done was Nissa, Shaker of the Meta, or Shaker of Worlds. Like when we were playing M20 standard and all that War of the Spark, all those cards were involved. It was just a standard that was just too powerful for this card to exist. Resolving or top decking this card when you're trying to deal with turn 4 Nissa is just kind of a joke. This card was best in the mid-game, but drawing it too early and drawing it too late was just kind of a real feels-bad situation. When you need a top deck to answer some sort of big threat that existed pre-rotation, like a Nissa, like this was just, who wants to draw this in the late game? And then, if you drew it too early, this was just a joke against the powerful aggro decks at that time. You got to remember how powerful mono red was, during the Theros block. When Annex and everything and Embercleave and all that, they lost a lot of key pieces. The Embercleave decks, the mono red decks. But just if you can remember how powerful they were, mono red was a tournament played staple. I think during Worlds that year, I guess that wasn't that year. That was that year, right? That was last October. Was the Theros. Was the Theros Worlds, right? Theros just came out and then Worlds started, and PVDDR won it with Azorius Control. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. So, yeah, Mono Red was one of the most played decks there. It took up a decent meta share there. So, and Fires of Invention, right? Like, playing this card against Fires of Invention would have been a joke, but I don't think those two ever existed together. I think Fires of Invention was banned before this came out. But regardless, obviously you understand that pre-rotation, this was unplayable. It was just too clunky, and it just didn't work, which says a lot, because this card is fantastic. It just says a lot about what standard was like before rotation. And then after rotation, when Omnath was being played, this card was still unplayable because you had turn 4 Omnath to deal with, and that just generates so much value Where a card like this, which also generates a lot of value, it's just not enough value. You know, library manipulation and card draw wasn't enough to stop Omnath, which says a lot about that card and what that card did to Standard. So now that we are post Omnath, we are post rotation and post Omnath ban. This card is look at Krieger back there going behind the TV a little. Oh god, I just punched the mic. I'm gonna have to edit that. Look, oh my god, he's so cute. Just peeking out there. Simba, this is all your kingdom. Everything the light touches. Anyway, so yeah, post Omnath, post rotation, and post Omnath, this card has been seeing a lot more play. And I think the reasons are pretty much as I listed. The power level of Standard has decreased significantly, and you're able to, drawing this off the top of your deck and being able to play it on like turn 3 or 4 doesn't feel so bad. You can play this turn 3 or 4. If you hold 2 mana open to draw another card, that's not the worst thing in the world. I've had a lot of games where I play this card with 4 mana, so I leave 2 open and I leave up maybe some removal. I give myself the option of leaving instant speed removal or leaving this open to draw another card and get more options in my hand to deal with whatever it is that's out there on the board. So, and it's obviously this card is really strong in the mid game when you're trying to get cards back into your hand, when you need that library manipulation, when you're trying to look at the top decks of your library, trying to manipulate and get what you're looking for on top of your deck. And even in the late game, it's pretty good. And obviously, whenever you've played it, gaining the 4 life once you've used this thing up, that's amazing. I gotta move this. Keep hitting it. So yeah, I think that this card's glow up has been just unbelievable. It's seeing play in not only control decks, it's being played in mid-range decks. I've been seeing it in Golgari mid-range. I've been seeing it in Abzan mid-range. I'm seeing some streamers put it in like mono white aggro. Obviously, this slots into any one of those control decks, any Yorion Blink decks. I mean, so the gain 4 life is great once it expires, but you can just keep resetting this, and you just have you just have infinite, every time you blink it just pops right back in, and then you can just start the cycle all over again. Get rid of those page counters, and then you got 4 more times that you can scry, draw, this, that, the other thing. It's an easier thing to sacrifice to a Doom Foretold if you're playing Doom Foretold yourself, or if you're playing against it. So it's just like the when this card came out in M21, it looked amazing, and control players were like, we need to play this, but control wasn't in the best place, and this card didn't get played because it was just too clunky. And now I think that the meta and that Standard is in a really healthy place. This card is just seeing so much play, and it's a really great card. If you're playing mid-range, if you're playing control, get 4 of these in your deck. You will not regret it. The value that this generates is it's a lot. It generates a lot of value in a Standard that's a little bit slower and maybe a little bit less powerful. I mean, Standard is generally still pretty powerful, but it's nowhere near what it was when Omnath was here and pre-rotation. It's nowhere near as powerful as Standard back then. So yeah, if you're playing control, you're playing mid-range, I think this slots into a lot of different kind of archetypes and can really benefit you. So, when you're looking at decks right now, and when you're brewing decks and testing decks, this is a card I think you could always kind of consider. It's a 2 of in the sideboard is viable. I've seen that in some Gruul aggro decks, just having 1 or 2 of these in the sideboard if card advantage or card draw is something that's going to be a problem for you, maybe against a control matchup or something like that, something where you just need to keep digging to get the Embercleave to get the game over or something like that. Not a bad idea. And obviously, again, in any Yorion Blink decks, Doom Foretold decks, it can go anywhere now, which is just crazy. And I'm seeing it being played in all these different kinds of places. So if you're testing, brewing, something like that, maybe you have a hole to fill in your deck and you're just trying to figure out where something can go, give it a try. But obviously, in some decks, it actually has a purpose and is better than in others. But it's just always something, if you're trying to figure out maybe a 2-drop to fill out or something like that in your deck, and you can't really think of anything. Obviously, this is colorless, so it can go in any deck, but it's just a great card, and I think it deserves some attention, and it deserved to be talked about, or deserved to be talked about. So yeah, that's my take on Mazemind Tome. It's a great card. I think it can go in a lot of different kinds of decks. It's being played in a lot of different decks, and that's for a reason. So if you don't have it, um, go craft it. I'd say this is absolutely maybe not a four of if you're not wild card um, rich. If you're not wild card rich, two of that's totally fine. But if you are wild card rich and you're looking for something to craft, go craft this card and put it in some decks. You won't regret it. Um, yeah. So, nope. There he is. He's trying to say hello. Hey, buddy. So yeah, that's my video. It's a short one, but again, we're going to be making more of these card discussions. I think they're just easier to make. I have a full-time job, so it's tough for me to sit down and play games of Magic and record content and make it watchable and stuff like that. It's difficult to find time to do all that. So the shorter format would probably be easier for me. And obviously with less editing, all I need to do is just put Mazemind Tome up here somewhere. And that's really all I need to do. So if you like it, let me know. I'll absolutely do more of these. I have a couple other cards that I probably want to discuss, and if it goes well, if people watch, then that's great. Also, as a reminder, I'm doing Extra Life this year. I'll have a link in the description. I know that we have a small community. There's only like 18 of you people subscribed, 18 of you great, awesome, handsome, wonderful, beautiful people subscribed. But yeah, if you are subscribed, please just check the link in the description. You don't have to watch me stream it all on November 7th, but please just check out the link in the description and consider donating. All the money goes to the Connecticut Children's Medical Center. It's going to be used to buy essentially, I think it's just gaming equipment for the kids, getting PlayStations in their rooms and stuff like that. Just keeping the kids happy and healthy. So yeah, just please check it out. It goes to a good cause. It would mean a lot to me. I think we've already raised like $250, which is great, but my goal I think was 500, and I think that was pretty low. I didn't have high hopes to get donations, but a few family and friends have come through. So the more people that we can get, the better. So if you are watching this, and if you've gotten this far, and if you would like to, it would mean a lot to me. So yeah, without any more, without anything left to say, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.